ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Jermaine, and I'm back with another Simple Truth news update. I have been sharing with you for several months, a great number of months, probably over the last 18 months to a year, and I've been sharing with you and reporting to you the things that are going on that are really and truly being glossed over, or people are just simply not paying attention. I spoke to you about what's going on as far as the UN arms treaty and the talk about the firearms confiscation. And we've seen that in many instances, whether it be in California, whether it be in Boston, from coast to coast, and even in the middle, we're talking about Chicago and Detroit and places like that, there have been several gun confiscations, voluntary gun confiscations, but people are just simply giving up their Second Amendment rights without any type of opposition. They believe that, or let me say this, they've been conditioned to believe that the federal government is going to take care of them, the state government, or even the local authorities will be able to take care of them in times of crisis and in times of need. Well, we see in Illinois, especially Chicago, that that's definitely not true because of the high increasing numbers of murders time and time again, day after day, week after week, weekend after weekend, month after month. It's just been the trend. But you're also seeing situations where stories are being reported by military people, and I'm going to share one with you today from Infowars.com, where the military leaders, let me make this clear, the military leaders, we're not talking about the everyday troops, the ones that actually do the work, but the leaders that are behind those troops that do the work are being asked a series of questions and they're being gauged to see if they would have any problem firing upon or even violently bringing under control normal, everyday American citizens. And yet another story of this has come out with an ex-Navy SEAL who is talking about such things. So I want you to check out this article. There'll be a video that I'm going to share with you along with this article, and then I'll be back with some final words. SEAL veteran, military leaders being asked if they will disarm Americans. This comes from Infowars.com, October 23rd, 2013. Former Navy SEAL Ben Smith warns that the Obama administration is asking top brass in the military if they would be comfortable with disarming U.S. citizens, a litmus test that includes gauging whether they would be prepared to order NCOs to fire on Americans. Let's take a look and a listen to this article here and what was said.
I'm Jakari Jackson with an InfoWars Nightly News Alert. Are you willing to fire upon Americans? That's the question reportedly being asked of military personnel. And who's asking this question? The United States government themselves, according to the military personnel we've talked to. Retired Navy SEAL Benjamin Smith went on the Fox News channel, revealing how he believes the United States government is trying to provoke veterans into an armed confrontation. He was also on the Alex Jones radio show today, telling us about the litmus test he was given.
Going back to the beginning of this administration, I've had friends within the community talking about how they were brought in and questioned with people from more towards the top side, and the questioning resulted in kind of where it was pointing was, do you feel comfortable disarming American citizens? And you can see that now with the shedding of a lot of the officers and stuff like that. It's we don't have the 100% track on it, but there's a lot of funny things happening within military. They're trying to
Now that's
turn it
bombshell,
into-
but I want to quantify that. I have Secret Service, FBI sources on record on the air, but also covert sources that are currently in. They say exactly that for 2 years. There is a litmus test where officers from the generals down to lieutenant generals, down to majors, down to sergeant, master sergeants, will you fire on U.S. citizens? And if you say no, you're sent to the worst hellhole or basically kicked out. If you say yes, you're put into special Homeland Security units. Quantify, you're saying people in the community, special warfare community, are saying they have been brought into litmus test meetings.
Yeah. And at this moment in this conversation, it's God, to bring it back to Van Jones.
Oh, yeah.
God. Do you remember him when he said, you have to, for us to have the argument or to just have the conversation logically, and what he was saying with the communists and the lefties and everything that Van Jones is, it's you drop the radical pose for the radical ends. And just to translate that into what this is, I understand a lot of libertarian, Ron Paul, a lot of people that are your listeners get fervent and very strong about it. And it's not about, being that person that's the loudest right there, having that logical conversation to where someone else can reply and you can go back with facts. And it's a logical conversation that needs to be had.
And you can see the rest of the bombshell interview on prisonplanet.tv, where if you're not a member, you need to join today. You get a 15-day free trial, and you can also share one username and passcode with up to 11 different people. Get your membership today. Now stick around, because after this, we'll have more special reports. I'm Jakari Jackson, and this has been an InfoWars Nightly News Alert.
Provoked headlines last week when he appeared on Fox News to assert that the federal government was trying to provoke veterans into violence as an excuse to implement martial law. Speaking exclusively to the Alex Jones Show, Smith stated, "Going back to the beginning of this administration, I've had friends within the community talking about how they were brought in and questioned with people from more towards the top side, and the questioning where it was pointing was, do you feel comfortable disarming American citizens?" Adding that this was one of the many funny things occurring within the military. When Smith was asked by radio host Alex Jones if this line of questioning included a litmus test whereby military officers were asked if they would fire on U.S. citizens, he responded in the affirmative. Smith said the litmus test was related to the recent firing of top military commanders, Navy Vice Admiral Tim Gardena and Major General Michael Carey. Smith linked the premises to former Obama advisor Van Jones, who was forced to resign in September 2009 after his links with a Marxist organization were revealed. "You dropped the radical posse for the radical ends," said Smith, paraphrasing Van Jones. The idea of U.S. soldiers being asked if they will fire on American citizens during a crisis or mass disarmament program has emerged from several different sources over the last 2 decades. In January 2009, Nobel Peace Prize nominee Jim Garrow claimed he was told by a top military veteran that the Obama administration's litmus test for new military leaders is whether or not they will obey an order to fire on U.S. citizens. Concerns over U.S. troops being given orders to fire on American citizens in the event of mass gun confiscation first arose in May of 1994, when hundreds of Marines at 29 Palms, California, were given a survey as part of an academic project by Naval Lieutenant Commander Ernest Guy Cunningham, which asked the Marines if they would fire upon U.S. citizens who refuse or resist confiscation of firearms banned by the U.S. government. The survey was subsequently leaked because many of the Marines who took it were shocked by the tone of the question. Ladies and gentlemen, the simple truth of the whole matter is that we need to wake up. We need to sound the alarm. We need to stop hitting the snooze bar of life and just thinking that all of the things that are happening are either good for us or that they will simply go away. We have to stop being force-fed what we are told is good for us and really practice some self-autonomy and do some independent research and look at these things for what they are and not what they're being said to be or what they are telling us that they are. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of The Simple Truth. And I want you to remember, as I always tell you, it's the simple things that are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they're the most difficult to put into practice and to actually do. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you, and you again on another episode real soon.